It's Jerry L. Green, Black Student Advocate here, interviewing Everett. Everett, let's talk about your organization and what you guys are doing for the kids and for the community.
Well, the organization is ESP Education and Leadership Institute. It's a 501c3. And our signature program is BOSS, which stands for the Business of Success Beyond Sports. And what we're doing is we're teaching student athletes starting in middle school, and we're showing them how to adopt an academic and athletic life balance, how to model that behavior for their non-athlete peers so that both of them will be positioned at the end of the day to pursue success in any industry and every profession. As it is now, 3/4 of our boys, when they graduate high school, they don't even meet college entrance requirements. And so we're trying to address that fact by initially starting in middle school, making sure by the time they're in ninth grade, they're high school ready. Meaning they've taken algebra, they're proficient or advanced in language arts and math and science and that sort of thing, aligned with the district's standards.
Okay, so let's talk about your background. So you come from the legal industry, you're an attorney by profession. Let's talk about your background and your upbringing and everything that propelled you to this point.
Well, what we're doing, I mean, BOSS is really culmination of my 65 years on this earth, and also, how should I say it? We're doing for these kids what somebody did for me. Okay. So when I was in the 6th grade, growing up in inner city Cleveland, I scored real high on one of these standardized tests that they give all the kids, right? And so they identified me as high potential.
Okay.
And therefore, in the 6th grade, I was in a summer program at Oberlin College for 6 weeks. And then between the summers of my 7th grade, I was in a 6-week summer program at University School. And then between my 8th and 9th grade, I was in a summer program at John Carroll University.
Okay.
And the summers between my 9th and 12th grades, I was in Upward Bound.
Okay.
So from the 6th grade to the 12th grade, I was basically in school year round. But I also played sports. I played basketball, football, baseball. But back then, you know, we didn't play basketball, football, or baseball year round. We played in the season.
Right.
So in the summertime, that was not in season. Summertime. And so while we did play a lot of hoop on the playground, that sort of thing, there was time to work on yourself and not just work on your game. And while most of my friends spend all summer working on their games, I spent every summer working on me. And so at the end of the day, I was able to go pro in something other than sports. And that's really what we're preparing these boys to do, is to go pro in something other than sports, using sports as the vehicle and the tool. So that's what I did. So after those 6 years between 6th and 12th grade, I mean, I was ready to conquer the world, right? So, I mean, I went to Oberlin College, which is the program I was in as a 6th grader. That was the only college I applied to as a senior in high school, Oberlin, because I had met students there when I was in the 6th grade that I was still in contact with, guys like Avery Brooks, who's an amazing actor, who's done Spencer for Hire and Hawk, and done Paul Robeson all over the world, a one-man show. I met these guys when I was in the 6th grade, and I thought if I went to Oberlin, I would turn out to be like them. I didn't want to be like Mike. I want to be like Avery,
right?
Earl Singleton and like Charlie Blair. And then when I was in Upward Bound, I met Stephanie Tubbs Jones, who would later become Congresswoman Tubbs Jones. That was unfortunately the result of a brain aneurysm. But Case Western Reserve was the only law school I applied to, because I met her when I was in high school, and she was a student at Case Western Reserve Law School. And so we know that the process works. If you take a kid at a young age, like me, and you put your hand on them and you don't let them go. And so that's what we're doing for these kids. And I'm still in touch with all those teachers who had their hands on me 40 years ago, Miss Span and Miss Wade and Mr. Vaughn and Mr. Pumpkin. I talk to those guys even today. And so we're just trying to do for these boys, for us, because we know, again, that it works.
Okay. Yeah, so you just was mentioning a lot of teachers that you're still in contact with. So again, we know and we see the results when our kids don't have the whole village supporting them. So now you are giving mentoring. How does your program work? Is it year round? How does it?
Yeah, it's year round. And if I could elaborate a little bit more about why we're doing what we're doing.
Okay, that's fine.
So I went on to law school and I became a lawyer and then I practiced law at a big firm in Cleveland. And the way they had it set up at these big firms is they would assign you to work with a partner, right?
Right.
So the partner that I worked with was a guy named Jim Bailey, who was the general counsel for the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
And the owner, Art Modell. And so my first piece of work was working for the owner of the Browns on what would become the first privatization kind of a deal where the city of Cleveland turned over operation and management of the Cleveland Municipal Stadium to Art Modell's company, Cleveland Stadium Corporation.
Okay.
So even though he was the tenant, he became the landlord and the tenant.
Okay.
And the Cleveland Indians became his tenant.
Okay.
Even though they were competing franchises, right? So he was able to run Municipal Stadium in a way that benefited the Browns versus the Indians, since he had control of the stadium.
Got it.
And again, I had this idea as a youngster that I wanted to be involved in sports. And who would know, who could predict that my first job would be at a firm where we represent the owner of a pro team, right?
Right.
And so that was just the way God had planned it, so that I would ultimately reach this goal of being able to work with pro athletes. And so after a couple of years working with Bailey for the Browns, I relocated to California and started working at a firm, Heller Ehrman, right in McAuliffe, which was one of the biggest law firms in the world at the time. And our clients at Heller Ehrman included Levi Strauss.
Okay.
Levi Strauss at that time owned the Oakland A's. So again, I was able to get experience working with the owner of a team to come to understand. We know who's representing the players, right? And I mean, the owners, they have big firms like my firm. But I start looking at see who's representing the players, right?
Right. Right.
The players didn't have guys like me representing them.
Okay.
They had guys who, back in the day, it would be like a guy like Mike Trope. He was a big time agent at the time. And all I know Mike Trope had was a pocket full of money.
Okay.
To go out and recruit these black boys and, give them money and start, it's almost like a drug dealer. And I looked at Lee Steinberg and I looked at IMG and Mark McCormick and all them guys. And I said, okay, well, they don't have my legal background and I'm from the hood.
Right, right.
So we combine those two, I'll be unstoppable. And so what I had to do, I said, okay, well, I got to find a client, right? Because I had put a lot of time in to learn all of the rules, because that's how I learned as a lawyer to do my due diligence, right? So before I even approach the client, I've become an expert on the collective bargaining agreement and all the rules around it. And once I did that, I picked up the phone and I tried to connect with a guy named Clark Kellogg.
Okay.
And at the time, he was, they were projecting him to be the next Magic Johnson.
Okay.
I just saw a video on him last night that when he was coming out of high school, they actually, or coming out of Ohio State, they called him the first LeBron James.
Right, right. I saw the video, right.
Okay, and so I had learned networking, right? Because this networking, it's only 6 degrees of separation. So I didn't know Clark Kellogg or nobody in his family. And I'm in San Francisco working at Heller Ehrman. But I called a buddy man in Cleveland and said, look, man, I'm trying to get in touch with this kid, Clark Kellogg. Anybody in the hood, anybody know him, right? And a couple of days later, he called me back and said, here's Mr. Kellogg's number. and just tell him that Skipper told you to call. Right? and this is a true story. So I called Mr. Kellogg and Skipper told me to call you. I'm a lawyer. I'm from Cleveland. I'm out in San Francisco. I'm trying to get into this sports thing. And all I really want is an opportunity to sit down and talk to you and your son, right? Now, Clark Kellogg was the Big Ten Player of the Year,
right?
MVP, lottery pick projected, and he was the 8th player picked. And so he had ProServe, which was David Falk, and that's the guy that represented Michael Jordan and all the guys out of Georgetown, all the guys out of North Carolina. He had IMG, that's the guys representing Tiger Woods and all them kind of guys. And then he had me, right? I hadn't represented nobody. Nobody in sports, right?
Right.
So when I went to meet with him, I bought what we call a transcript, right? Which is actually referred to as a Bible. But it's when we do a deal, we put together all the documents, right? And we bound them into just one volume, or maybe 2 or 3 volumes, depending on what size the deal is, right? And in this case, this was maybe about a $800 million deal, right? And so the Bible, the transcript was about 9 inches thick, right? So I packed that transcript up and I put next to the transcript the NBA contract, which is 4 pages. Right? And the only thing you have to fill in is the blank for the salary. Everything else been negotiated by the union.
Right.
So when I sit down and talk to Mr. Kellogg, whatever, and Clark and his mom, so I get the NBA contract, right? And it's like 4 pages. So I take it and I open it up and then I say, now, Clark, that's your NBA contract, right? And the only thing we got to do is fill in this blank. Okay, now, and then I took out the transcript, you know, which is about 9 inches thick. And I tossed that on the table. Boom! That's the last deal that I've done, right? And you see there, that's for $700 million. And we had to do way more to just fill in the blank. In fact, we had to negotiate every word on every document in this volume, which was about twice the size of a telephone book. So
right.
They tell me that you're a smart guy, right? That's what they tell you. He'll tell you this himself. You're a smart guy. So if you don't think I can fill in that blank, and we just did this over here, or if you think Mark McCormick or David Falk know more about filling in that blank than me, even though I've never filled in the blank, but all I need to know is they just tell me what the market is, right? We're gonna find out the market. All we just need to know what pick you are in the round and what team you go to. It don't make a difference who represents you. Beyond that, the first question we ask him is, what can you do besides play basketball, Clark? And he almost fell out of his chair, right? Because nobody had asked him what he could do besides playing basketball.
Right.
And so he picked us, right? And the rest is history. Now, he called Mark McCormick and them guys and said, look, I appreciate the interest you've shown in me. I've made a decision, and I'm going with Everett Glenn from the law firm. They said, Everett Glenn, who is that? True story. So they said, look, so IMG, they told him, look, I could understand if you went with ProServe or any of them guys, but how could you go with Everett Glenn? He said, well, because he has a plan for the rest of my life, right? And then he called ProServe and told them that, you know, he was going to go with me. And they said, what? Who is Everett Glenn? So I can understand if they start recommending each other.
Right.
Just to keep me out of the business, right? But he said, no, he was good. And like I said, the rest is history. I mean, what we're able to show him is how to turn his 15 minutes of fame into a lifetime of good fortune, which includes being married to the same woman, Rosie, his girlfriend, when he was in college. Having raised 3 boys, 2 boys and a daughter, all college graduates. And so that's what we, if you have to, is what it's all about. It's about that, taking a kid from where he's at and showing him how to achieve success in his life, in his profession, in his family, so that he could help other people. And So that's what we do now. So we started this program because I only met Clark when he was coming out of Ohio State, right? So we said, imagine what kind of impact we could have on him if we had met him earlier.
Right.
Okay, which is why we decided to take this program down to middle school. So we can meet the kids before they develop the bad habits, not before they develop because they got bad habits, but before they start believing all the hype about they going to the NBA or the NFL.
Right.
And even though they start believing it at that age, we can at least they're open to other stuff. And again, if we can spend enough time with them, you understand we're not trying to discourage you in your dream, but why don't you try to be like Clark Kellogg, where he did both of them? You know, he graduated with a degree in marketing, and he was a lottery pick. So don't let nobody tell you you can't do both of them.
Right, right.
And in fact, because he did both of them, he had a better pro career than guys who didn't have that kind of preparation. You follow?
Right.
Take advantage of the fact that he was a pro. In other words, as soon as his career was over, the next day he went to work for the Indiana Pacers. The next day. And the next day after that, he went to work for ESPN. And he's been doing that for 20-some years. He's #1 down CBS college basketball now. He just recently retired as a vice president with the Pacers. He's on the board of trustees at Ohio State. So he took sports and created a lifetime for himself and his family. And also positioned himself to be able to help other people for the rest of his life. And that's what we show these kids through this program that we start in the summer with a 2-week camp.
Okay.
And that camp is got a heavy math and science focus. This year we're going to add argumentative writing and critical reading, right?
Okay.
And these kids, they don't know how to communicate orally or in writing. We start every day out with what we call a jump start. All the kids are athletes, right? Middle school athletes. And we started out with a jump start, which is an hour of non-sport specific training. So speed, and quickness, and agility, and strength, and that sort of thing. And after that hour, we go to the computer lab for 2 hours. And we work on, we teaching them how to code and that sort of thing. We have some kind of a STEM-based project that we complete. And then we have what we call our Math Madness competition to take off of March Madness, right?
Okay.
And so instead of playing hoops, we play math problems, right? And they compete on the basis of solving increasingly more difficult math problems. It's single elimination. And we work with these guys out of Philadelphia with a program called First in Math. And they're able to track what these guys do on a daily basis. We eliminate them daily, just like you get eliminated.
There it goes. There it goes.
In basketball. And
right.
At the end of the 2 weeks, we pair the kids up in twos, you know, and they represent schools, whatever school they want to represent. They represent Stanford and Ohio State and Michigan or Cal or USC or whatever, and they compete. And every day, you know, we keep tabs on their scores and we eliminate them, and then the losers go into the losers bracket,
okay.
Which is, we call that the NIT, right? After they lose, they go into the NIT, and then every year, we documented an 18% increase in their math test scores.
That's good.
That's as a result of spending 2 hours every day solving math problems. And then we have an all-tournament team and an MVP and all the same sort of things that we do around March Madness, but ours is based on solving math problems. And then after that, we have subject matter experts who are, you know, business, sports industry professionals in our network come to talk to them about, and we don't talk to them, they engage them in conversations. So that if you tell them, they forget. If you teach them, they might remember. But if you involve them, they learn, right?
Right.
Everything we do is involving them. We don't tell them, we engage them in conversations, and we show them, and they figure this stuff out themselves. And so we talk about everything from powers and dangers of social media to decision science to transforming beliefs to brand and reputation, nutrition, financial literacy, how to deal with constructive criticism, and we work on their non-cognitive skills, right? The hard work and the persistence and that kind of stuff. So that, because they're not getting that in school.
Right.
When you then at every lunchtime, we have a keynote speaker, and we've had guys like, legendary Agent Lee Steinberg, we had guys from the Rams, and just all kind of folk come and talk to them about their story, like how they achieved their success, what they went through, and the obstacles they had to overcome. And then afternoons are more, we do leadership and team building exercises and that sort of thing. There's some more subject matter expert presentations. We have field trips. This past summer, we spent a day at the Port of Long Beach, which is the largest port in North America. And they got a chance to, visit port headquarters and engage in a couple-hour conversation with the executive director and the head of human resources and the head of security and the head of engineering. So they can, it's what these guys do. I mean, because they don't even, all they know is they wear Nikes. They don't know where the Nikes come from, right?
Right.
I didn't know that they coming on these boats over here.
Right.
And then we have a whole tour, a boat ride. They provide them lunch, and they tour the whole port, and they get to see all of this stuff, amazing stuff, to come to understand how this trade works, right? We take them to Applied Minds, which is a Willy Wonka chocolate factory for geek lovers. Two Disney Imagineers, Dan Farron. They're doing all this artificial intelligence and drones, and they shut up the whole company for the day, and they just engage our kids for the whole day.
Okay.
We go to the Aerospace Corporation, AEG, our good friend Kevin McDowell, who's Chief Administrative Officer. He's shut down for a day, and he bring his whole management team, and they engage these kids in a conversation, right? About, in fact, Kevin go every year, right? And so he tells almost the same story, but it's always entertaining because he got this little bus, like this little Greyhound bus, the little metal one they used to give you when you rode Greyhound.
Right.
Okay, so he carries us around with him, and he tells the kids a story about when he was young. His mom used to see his grandmother in Texas, right? And so he put him on the bus. So they gave him this Greyhound bus to drive with him, right? So he asked the kids, okay, well, what do you think I wanted to be when I was your age, right? And they look at each other and they say, a bus driver. And he said, that's right, because that's what I knew, right? I saw a bus driver, right?
Right.
So he said, and I got there, I think when I was about 12 or 13, my mom started, she thought I was old enough to fly, right? So instead of putting me on the bus to go see grandma, she put me on a plane. And so, what do you think I wanted to be after that plane ride? They said a pilot. I said, exactly right. So it's just really about what you get exposed to.
That's what it's about.
And that's right. So that's what we do. These kids have, our oldest kid, for example, he's in 10th grade. His name is Clark Phillips, and he's an All-American safety cornerback at La Habra High. And the last time we was together, I took him to a meeting of the Los Angeles chapter of the National Association of Minority Contractors, right?
Okay.
And that's all the folk, engineers, architects, construction firms, that sort of thing. And he met Steve Ballmer, who's the owner of the Clippers. He met, what is his name? He's the CEO of Kaiser Permanente. He met Herb Wesson, who's head of the city council. He met Mark Ridley Thomas, who's a commissioner, LA County commissioner. He met Michelle Smith Ballard, who's a vice president at Turner. This kid he's 12 years old.
Right.
And I'm taking him, he's just hanging out with me, and all these grown folk, they want to know, like, what is he doing here? Who is he? So I was just, Clark, tell him who you are.
Right.
Why are you here? In fact, I got a video that I can send you separately. There's no sound, but you hear him talking to an adult who met for the first time, and just watching how he's engaging in this conversation is just a result of having put him in that situation. Okay, we have one of our sayings is we're going to put you in the deep water, so you either learn how to swim or you drown, right? Just like in the Bible, if you know scripture, it says that he was beginning to sink. That's when he told him to walk on the water and come to him, and as he was beginning to sink, then God reached his hand out for him. So we're not going to let you sink, but we got to put you in deep water because that's the only way you really learn how to swim. So we just put them in situations and circumstances and show them stuff that they probably won't see, all with a view towards convincing them that, not convincing them, but showing them how to become successful, because people tell them every day, you can do this, you can do that, you can do anything you want to do, and you can become whoever you want to be, but we're not showing them how to do it.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so tell them, but if you don't show them, then they're just going to do what they know. But if you show them, then they can do these things that you tell them that they can do.
Yeah. So right now, how long have your program been in existence?
This is our 5th year.
Okay.
Our 5th year. And so, we moved in those 5 years. We started out at Challengers Boys and Girls Club in South Central Los Angeles. And in 4 years now, we have moved to the College of Business on the campus of Long Beach State. We started out with just a group of kids almost off the street. And now we have a relationship with Long Beach Unified. So all of our kids, for the majority of them, we do have probably a dozen or so who are Orange County kids, but they're Long Beach Unified School District kids, and they all play sports. So we do this 2 weeks during the summer, and then we engage them once per month scheduled, but most times it's 2 or 3 times a month that we get together with them doing something. And we just took a group of boys and their dads to the All-Star Chef Cook-Off that they had at LA Live. And it was a 4-day deal, and they had different food from different parts of the world. So we went on the night that they had a Mediterranean kind of a deal, right? And just to see these dads with their sons, right? Because the only time we see dads with their sons who play sports is at the game.
Right. Right.
Or at practice, or picking up for practice, but doing something totally unrelated to sports. This is a food, like a chef deal, right? And just to spend time with them, that's quality time.
Right, right.
We're going to take a group of them to a Laker game. And actually, we won the Lakers mentoring road trip contest. And so one of our kids and me, we went on a 4-day, 3-night trip with the Lakers to Atlanta. And that topped off with us watching the Lakers play the Hawks. But we went to the Georgia Aquarium. We went to the Center for Human and Civil Rights. We went to the Martin Luther King exhibit. Went to the World of Coca-Cola. It's just an amazing 4 days and 3 nights. Changed this kid's, again, his whole perception of what's possible just from what he can see. We don't have to tell him anything if he just sees it. And he can size these people up, just like when Miss Spann told me I could become a lawyer. And the only lawyer I knew was Perry Mason,
Right, right.
Matlock from television, right?
Right, right.
So get your coat and get your stuff. And she put me in her car, and she took me over to Stanley Tolliver's. Now, Stanley Tolliver, his daughter's on Facebook. She went to Oberlin with me. I didn't know her at the time. But I walked into his house, and he had these big ceilings. And I said, wow, man, what do you do? And he said, I'm a lawyer. I said, Miss Spann, this lawyer thing, that might be all right. What do I have to do again?
Right.
And so we try to just duplicate the opportunities and the exposure, because we know, like my brother and I, we live in the same house. We grew up in the same house. We slept in the same bed. We ate the same food. We went to the same school, and he turned out to be a factory worker for 40 years, and I'm a lawyer for 40 years. And so there ain't nothing different between us other than I got exposed to this stuff and he didn't. So he set his sights on going to work at the factory, which was a good job. He made a good living, but he haven't seen the world like I've seen the world.
Right.
He haven't had the same kind of experiences. And then so the question is, how can you raise 2 boys in the same house and one do this and one do that? Again, it's just a matter of exposure.
Right.
But that's what we do. We really want to create a new what's possible for these kids and show them people doing what we're talking about so they can believe it's possible for them.
So if someone wanted to contact you, what is your phone number they can reach out to you, or your website?
The phone number is 562-619-8460. 562-619-8460. And the website is www.esp as in Paul, Eli, eli.org. www.espeli.org.
Okay, so right now you say you're at Long Beach. What is the future plans and expansion for your organization and other communities you want to help?
Well, our plan is to saturate Southern California. So next year we'll probably have a program not only at Long Beach State, but at a school that would enable us to reach kids who are in Los Angeles area. We're going to go to Los Angeles, we're going to Compton, we're going to go to Carson, we're going to go to Inglewood, because the kids, now they will go from Carson to Long Beach State to play a game or for a training session, but we can't get them yet to come from Carson to Long Beach State to work on themselves, okay? And so what we want to do is set up satellite BOSS programs in those cities, and then ultimately go out to the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, Riverside counties, and then go up north to California. And then ultimately, we are already in conversations with NFL, NBA, NCAA about taking BOSS to every city where there's a major league sports franchise. So that would be like our anchor sponsor, so to speak. So that in Cleveland is probably going to be first on our list, since that's where I'm from, Cleveland.
Right.
And we already have a relationship with the Browns, and they've already sponsored some stuff that we've done, even out here in Southern California. And so we would take it back to Cleveland, and what we'll do is we'll identify a team of people. We'll present the opportunity to people that we know in these different places and say, look, here's the cookbook right here. This is, you don't have to figure out what to do. Here's the operating procedure manual. And if you do these things right here, then you could start a BOSS chapter in your city. And here are all our sponsors, which include the Dodgers and the Lakers and the Clippers and the Chargers and the Rams and AEP and Pac-12 and Microsoft and Xerox, Kiewit and Essentia and Dick's Sporting Goods. And we'll show you how to develop sponsors for your affiliate. And we'll also go to our existing sponsors, because to the extent that they're national, like a Dick's, then Dick's will support a program in the Inland Empire, just like they'll support what we're doing down here, because they get Dick's stores in the Inland Empire.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's good giving back and supporting the community. That's good.
Yes, we'll. So that's what we wanted to become, a national program. That we again, we only run the one out here, but we show other people how to run it and how to develop a relationship with the local school board and the school district and the local university, so you can have the program on the campus, and how to make all that kind of stuff work, how to build your sponsorship base, how to get counselors, how to get instructors. Because right now, for example, I just had a meeting with a young lady. She's in graduate school at Long Beach State, and she's actually going to be teaching the argumentative writing and critical reading. And she's doing it for free. And she's a PhD student, and we got a PhD student going to teach these middle school kids how to read and write for free. Because and they benefit, she benefits, and then we actually help her too. That we get kids who are engineering students at Long Beach State who work with our boys, and we've helped them get internships, like at engineering firms here locally. So it's like, it's almost like we're doing what, and here in Long Beach, they have the College Promise, right? And that's an initiative between the school district and city and Long Beach City College and Long Beach State, right? But we're doing what they're talking about doing, because that College Promise really is only benefiting kids who are already motivated, who are already high achievers.
Right.
Because even though they get 50% of the kids going to college as a result of this College Promise, they still get 75% of our boys who don't even meet college entrance requirements. So in my mind, the College Promise is a failure. In their mind, is a success.
Right.
And they're only helping kids who are going to go to college anyway.
Right.
we're trying to create or expand the pool of kids who meet the requirements so they can go to college. But that's all part of the plan, is to really ultimately take a seat at the table of the sports industry by having more control and say so and input into what our boys do, because they built this multi-billion-dollar industry on the back of our children.
Right.
But we don't even have they make rules. I mean, I just read in the paper today, the NCAA talking about making rules. They don't ask us. They just make the rules. Or if they ask us, they ask somebody like Condoleezza Rice. She don't know nothing about us.
Right.
I mean, she black, but she don't know nothing about these black boys in the hood playing hoops.
Right.
But they put her on the panel because she's used to be whatever, with the government. But that ain't about the government. This is about these black boys in the hood playing ball.
Right.
They pick who they're gonna have represent us.
Right. Right. Try to tell us who our leaders are.
That's right. Yeah. And so what we need to do is we need to ultimately produce white papers and report cards, and so these parents know about these schools. I mean, for example, Cal Berkeley, that's the number one public institution in the country, but they get the worst graduation rate for black kids in the country too. Okay, so why are you gonna send your boy to Cal?
Funny you say that. So I'm coming out with the Black Student Advocate School Report Card.
Right.
And it's going to expose things like what you just said. And the ones that we're really going to put exposed are dealing with the situations where we get calls where we have to go advocate for these students, and how we see the school districts treating our babies.
Yeah.
And, you're over-disciplined. And we know the numbers. You're over-disciplined. You don't really care. Your attitude, your behavior, your evaluation, all these things that affect our babies that y'all don't care. So now you set them up for a preschool to prison pipeline. Yeah. Let me pivot on that and say something I think is very important that you're doing, is that how you have your site on campuses so kids can get used to walking to campuses, so it's not a big monster or institution they're scared of. So
exactly right. That's what I said. That's what happened to me from the 6th grade to the 12th grade. I spent every summer on the college campus. So when I went to Oakland as a freshman, I knew where all the buildings were. I was giving tours. In fact, I gave a tour to my wife, right? In fact, the guy who was my mentor, he had been on the basketball team, and he graduated the year before I came, and he stayed to work in admissions. And so whenever he had brought kids on campus, he wanted to come to Oakland, he would call me. I didn't work in tours. I just knew everything. And I knew everybody, and I was a salesman, right? So, but that's exactly right. I mean, our kids, they know their way around Long Beach State. I mean, because after we spend 4 or 5 hours in College of Business, then we go over to the student union. So first of all, we got to walk to the student union, but so they know how to get from the College of Business to the student union, and then they go back. But then, unbeknownst to me, because the parents pick them back up at the College of Business, right? But these guys all get phones and everything, so they just be telling me, Coach, and my mom says, so I'm gone. I said, well, you're gone, but don't you need me to? No, I know how to get back over there. And they're so comfortable, and it's second nature to them. So when it comes time, many of them are going to go to Long Beach State, just like I went to Oakland, because that's the first college campus I was on, and I knew it, and I was comfortable, and I had met people up there. And so even my guidance counselor, when I was graduating from high school, she told me I wasn't going to get into Oakland. In fact, she wanted to know, why is it Oakland only school you're applying to? How you only going to apply to one school? And I said, because I know people at Oakland. I'm getting into Oakland.
And that's the other side of it. You have relationships.
No, she telling me, she said, well, the valedictorian last year, she didn't get in Oakland. How you going to get in Oakland? I said, I know people at Oakland. I don't know about the valedictorian, but I've been to soul sessions and all kind of stuff on the weekends. I done played basketball up at the gym. And like I go to school up there already. Yeah, but it is a challenge. And what I've seen in just the schools I've visited here in Long Beach is that rather than encouraging and like we see the seed in each one of these kids that we nurture and we water and we love, and we're gonna watch it grow and develop. But what I see in the school district is they see the seed and they stomp it out. They step on it, and or they just don't do enough to encourage. They're just looking for the ones who are already serious about school, and we can help you, and then we're just gonna manage these other kids and keep them out of your way so you can learn. And in fact, while we were down in Atlanta with one of our kids, Jacob, and we were watching the Dolphin show, right? And I turned to Jacob and I said, "Now, Jacob, what does it tell you?" Because that's how we talk to them. We don't tell them. We ask them questions and we get them to talk to us. So I said, "Jacob, what does it tell you that they can teach these dolphins to jump through hoops, synchronized, 4 of them? They jumping through the hoop together and then they twisting together." I said, "What does that tell you?" And he looked at me and he said, "Coach Glenn, you can teach anybody anything." And I said, "That's exactly right." And now what did they do? Watch what they do every time that dolphin do what they tell them to do. Watch what they do. And he said, they can give him some tuna. That's right. They're going to reward him every time he does the right thing. He's going to get rewarded. So then doing the right thing become a habit. Okay. So what we're going to do is the same thing. You like a dolphin. If they can teach a dolphin to jump through a hoop, we're going to teach you how to read and write and critically think. And every time you do the right thing, we're going to reward you with some fish. And in fact, I got 2 kids coming over in an hour. Both of them made honor roll, perfect attendance. And so we just asked them, "What do you want?" So one kid wanted a Nike, I don't even know what they call it. It's like a windbreaker or something. Another kid wants some compression shorts. And then the kid who got the compression shorts, his brother is also in the program, Kai. He made high honors, perfect attendance. And we asked him what he wants. So he wants some Kobe. So we gave him some Snickers, right? So we reward him. And in fact, then the mom, that's why we do this. We do it because people did it for us, right?
Right.
Then when you get these emails and these texts from these moms, and look, it's so good that Makai and Darius can see somebody else care about them and their success.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's what the mom is saying. Or when we had Makai, we took him to a Hall of Fame event with Everett Glenn and Anthony Munoz and Aeneas Williams, right? And they had about 400 kids there, and they looked for volunteers. They wanted the kids to come up in front and tell the audience, like 400 or 500 people, what they got out of the day's experience, right? And so I said, "McKay, you're gonna handle this, right?" And he looked at me and said, "Coach Glenn, I can't do that. I ain't never talked to nobody." And I said, "What do we say about swimming, right? We're gonna put you in the deep water, but you can do this, right?" And so he said, "Okay." And and I got the video. I can show you the video. And so he came up, and so Anthony Munoz gave him the microphone and said, "Can you tell the kids what you've learned today?" So he said, "Sure." Now he didn't learn that today. Actually, he learned it from us, but he still repeated it. And he said, "Well, what I learned is only take 3 things to be successful. The first thing you got to do is decide what you want to be successful at. And then second thing you have to do is you have to determine the price. What is the cost? What is it going to cost me to do this? And then the third thing, you just commit to pay the price." And the room erupted. and Munoz and Dale Green, they was on either side of them. They looked at it because they don't even know that. And I took the video of it, right? And I sent it to the kid's mom. And she almost started crying. She said, "Coach, how you get him to do that?" And then afterwards, he told me, he said, "Coach," because they call me coach, right? Because we don't want to call us teachers because they don't listen to teachers, but they listen to the coach, right?
Right.
I'm Coach Glenn to them. Okay, and he said, "Coach, that felt better than making a 3-point shot." I said, "That's right. I told you. And all you have to do is just do it, right?" And now he's looking for opportunities to talk.
To speak. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's rewarding, and if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be able to do none of it, right? My wife raised me up that I can pour into these kids and do for them what people did for us, and then have them play it back. There's a trainer aspect of this. So that, in fact, if you, again, I got video to show you this, the kids is teaching each other, right? Math, right, and all kinds of stuff at the board, and they're asking their friends questions. Okay, well, what is 5 parentheses -2? What does that mean, right? Right. Together like that. Because they can do this, but don't nobody give them credit for being able to do it. But if you put them in the situation and give them the support, they can do it. Right.
So, other question. First of all, let's give your phone number, website again. So when it comes, start to
562-619-8460, 562-619-8460, and the website is www.espeli.org. And if you have any middle school kids in your network who won't have a problem getting to and from Long Beach State for 2 weeks, July 23rd through August 3rd, for a life-changing experience, then reach out. And we probably will be able to make out some kind of travel arrangements depending on how far they live from Long Beach. You get a group of them, maybe just get dropped off at a spot and then brought over to Long Beach State and take it back to that spot. That probably is only going to work for kids maybe like up to Carson, Inglewood. Maybe Inglewood's probably too far, but Carson, Lakewood, and the areas close to Long Beach.
Okay. And so is there a maximum number of kids you work with, or 5 to 50 a year? How do your program work with the numbers?
Well, no, we're on the college campus. We got plenty of room.
Okay.
Plenty of room. In fact, this year we're going to go to 2 classes. We're going to run the camp concurrently, where one group of kids will be those who are going back to middle school in the fall, and the other group will be kids who are in high school or going to high school. Most of them will be 8th graders going to 9th grade, but we will have some 10th and 11th graders who have been with us from the beginning.
Okay. So as we wrap up, I know your time is valuable. Is there anything else that you want to, say while we're right here on camera?
Well, I just thank you for the opportunity to spread the word. And again, if there's coaches, AAU coaches, 7-on-7 coaches, parents, teachers, educators, recreation center, church leaders, if you got some boys who you want to become all that God created them to be, then let us help you. Because together we can do better than any of us could do on our own in terms of impact. It still does take a village.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. All right, sir. I appreciate your time today. Again, this is Jerry O'Green, the Black Student Advocate. Oops.